Okay, so let me ask you something. What would you do if a man with a gun broke into your home, not to rob you, but to literally become you? Today, we're jumping into Douglas James's absolutely brilliant one-act play, If I Were You. It's this incredibly tense, real-time battle of wits where, honestly, everything comes down to who can give the most convincing performance of their life. So, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll start with an unexpected visitor who just completely shatters a quiet afternoon. Then, we get to the heart of it, a criminal's pretty wild grand plan. After that, it's a full-on battle of wits, which leads us to a jaw-dropping final twist. And of course, we'll wrap it all up by talking about what it all means. All right, so let's set the scene. We're in this cozy little cottage out in Essex. Everything about it, the simple furniture, the quiet, it just screams normal. But trust me, this quiet little life is about to get completely turned upside down. And here's our guy, Gerard. At first glance, he's exactly what he looks like. Cultured, nicely dressed, and just super calm on the phone. He really seems like a man who has his life completely under control. You'll want to remember that, because it is about to be seriously tested. So he wraps up his calls, says a quick goodbye, and right away he starts packing a travel bag. Clearly, he's in a hurry to get somewhere. But yeah, he's not going to be leaving as planned. His trip is about to get interrupted in a big, big way. And just like that, he's not alone anymore. A man slips in from the side. He's got a similar build to Gerard, but he's dressed all flashy, and he's holding a revolver. He kind of stumbles over a table, which shatters the silence, and Gerard spins around to find himself staring right down the barrel of a gun. The game has officially begun. Now, this is where the tension just goes through the roof. Because, see, this isn't about money or stealing things. The intruder's plan is way more personal, and it's aimed right at Gerard himself. So what is this guy really after? Just look at this comparison for a second. This is basically the whole conflict of the play on one slide. On one side, you've got Gerard, cultured, calm, and his only weapon is his brain. And on the other side, the intruder, flashy, tense, and he's banking on the power of that revolver. It's a classic showdown, right? Brains versus brawn. The intruder doesn't even waste time with threats. Nope, he gets right to the point with this chilling calm. He's not just going to kill Gerard. His plan is so much bigger than that. He's going to erase him and literally take over his life. So here's the why of it all. The intruder is a jewel thief, and he's already wanted for killing a cop. In his mind, what's one more murder? It doesn't really change anything for him. He's heard these whispers about this mysterious guy, Gerard, who keeps to himself and doesn't have many visitors. So to him, this isolated cottage isn't a home. It's the perfect hideout, the perfect disguise. He thinks he's found an easy target, a simple life he can just step right into. Oh, he could not be more wrong. Now, think about it. If you had a gun pointed at you, you'd probably panic, right? You'd plead, you'd beg for your life. But not Gerard. No way. Instead of showing any fear, he just starts a conversation. And this begins a psychological chess match where his life is the grand prize. Gerard's first move here, it's genius. As a man who loves theater, he calls out the intruder's whole act, calling him melodramatic. It's a little jab, meant to throw him off his game, to take back some control. But the intruder isn't playing around. He is dead serious about becoming the new Vincent Charles Gerard. So the interrogation starts. The intruder is just firing off questions, trying to get all the little details he needs for his new identity. But Gerard, he just deflects every single question with these calm, short answers. He is absolutely refusing to be a victim here, and you can just feel the intruder getting more and more frustrated. And right here is where things start to shift. The intruder is so sure he's got an easy mark, just some simple, quiet guy. But as Gerard keeps talking, he starts planting these little seeds of doubt. Maybe there's more to this Gerard fella than meets the eye. Okay, this all builds up to the play's incredible climax. Gerard knows that just stalling for time isn't going to cut it. So what does he do? He decides to fight fire with fire, performance with performance. He is about to spin a story of his own. And let me tell you, it's a masterpiece. And boom, there it is, Gerard's masterstroke. He completely flips the script. He claims that he, Vincent Charles Gerard, is also a criminal on the run from the cops. He basically tells the intruder that killing him would be the worst mistake ever because he'd just be swapping one wanted man's identity for another. I mean, it is a masterclass in thinking on your feet. He uses the stuff he already has, the packed bag, some theatrical disguises, as his proof. Then he adds this urgent danger, saying the cops are going to be there any minute. And then he offers the one thing the intruder wants more than anything, a way out, an escape route they can take together. And then, this is just perfect, the phone rings. It's almost definitely the person from his first call, but to the intruder who's totally panicking now, it's the signal. It's the lookout warning them that the police are here. The trap has been sprung. So Gerard points to a door, says it leads to the garage. The now desperate criminal peeks inside to check. And in that one split second, Gerard shoves him in and slams the door shut. It wasn't an escape route. It was a big cupboard. The revolver falls to the floor, and just like that, the battle is won. Wow, what an ending. But the real genius of this play isn't just that awesome twist. It's about all the ideas that are bubbling right under the surface. So let's break down some of the key themes that make this story so great.
Really, at its heart, this whole play is about appearance versus reality. You've got the intruder who looks so dangerous with his gun, but turns out to be pretty gullible and desperate. And then there's Gerard, who seems like this quiet, bookish guy, but he reveals this core of steel and this brilliant talent for improvisation. It is the ultimate proof that a sharp mind can be way more dangerous than a loaded gun.
Hey, remember way back when Gerard called the intruder melodramatic? Well, that's a super important word here. The intruder is basically playing the part of a stereotypical, over-the-top bad guy. Gerard, though, he totally rejects that. He uses logic and wit and realism to solve his problem, and he ends up turning the intruder's own dramatic fantasies against him. And the final irony? It's just perfect. Gerard picks up that same phone that helped him trap the intruder and calmly calls the police. He apologizes for missing a rehearsal, explaining he ran into a bit of bother. This whole terrifying experience, it's now just great material for his next play. And that's what the play leaves us with. This really powerful question. When everything was on the line, it wasn't the man with the gun who came out on top. It was the man who kept his cool. It really makes you ask yourself, in the end, what's the more powerful weapon? A loaded gun or a quick wit?